You worked for this. You earned it. But the moment success arrives, something feels off. Instead of pride, there's tension. Instead of confidence, there's a quiet voice whispering, they're going to find out. Find out what? That you don't belong here. That this isn't really you. Why does achievement feel like exposure? And why does your brain treat success like a threat? Stay with that question, because the answer isn't what you think. You get the promotion, you post the video that finally performs well, you enter a new room where people treat you differently, and suddenly you feel smaller. You reread your old messages, you compare yourself to real experts, you replay conversations in your head. Did I sound stupid? Did they notice I hesitated? You start working twice as hard, not because you're ambitious, but because you're afraid. Afraid of being exposed as less capable than they assume. Psychology calls this imposter feelings, but that word doesn't capture the experience. This isn't just doubt, it's identity conflict. You have one image of yourself internally, and the world suddenly reflects back a bigger one, and those two don't match. When your internal identity says, I'm still figuring things out, and external reality says, you're successful, your nervous system doesn't celebrate, it panics, because the brain prefers consistency over truth. Your mind would rather believe you're small and safe than risk believing you've changed. This tension doesn't just stay in your thoughts, it shapes decisions. You downplay your wins. You avoid talking about achievements. You delay bigger opportunities. Sometimes you even sabotage progress. So your outer life shrinks back to match your inner identity. Not consciously, but predictably. And here's the part most people miss. This feeling often hits hardest right after growth. Why? Because growth moves faster than identity, and your brain doesn't like that gap. But before we fix it, you need to understand what your mind is protecting. You are not fake, you are not delusional, and you are definitely not alone. This reaction is not a flaw, it's an adaptation. At some point in your life, your brain learned that being visible was risky. Maybe praise came with pressure. Maybe success increased expectations. Maybe standing out meant criticism. Your nervous system stored that data. So now, when success expands your visibility, your brain doesn't say, well done. It says, careful. In behavioral psychology, this is reinforcement learning. If attention once led to stress, your brain wires success to threat. So the discomfort isn't proof you're fake. It's proof your system is trying to protect you. But protect you from what? That's where we go deeper. Let's break it down. Your brain runs on prediction. It builds a model of who you are. This is called your self-schema. Think of it as a mental file labeled me. Inside that file are beliefs. I'm average. I'm still learning. I'm not leadership material. These beliefs create stability. Now imagine success as a software update, but your brain hasn't installed it yet. So when reality upgrades and your self-schema doesn't, you experience cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the discomfort you feel when two beliefs collide. Belief 1, I'm not that capable. Belief 2, I just achieved something impressive. Your brain must resolve the conflict. And the fastest way to reduce discomfort is not upgrading your identity. It's minimizing the achievement. It was luck. They overestimated me. Anyone could have done that. This reduces tension instantly, but it keeps your identity small. There's also a neurological layer. Success increases dopamine, but visibility increases cortisol. Dopamine says reward. Cortisol says threat. If your history links visibility to danger, cortisol overrides celebration. Your nervous system chooses safety over expansion. Here's the metaphor. Your identity is like a thermostat. It's set to a certain level of success. When life heats up beyond that setting, your system activates cooling mechanisms to bring you back down. Not because you can't handle success, but because your identity hasn't caught up yet. So how do you raise the thermostat? Slowly, deliberately, and in a way your brain can tolerate. We're not going to fake confidence. We're going to retrain your nervous system. Name the identity lag. When you feel fake, say internally, This is identity lag. Labeling emotions reduces amygdala activity. Neuroscience shows that naming a feeling activates the prefrontal cortex, which calms threat response. You present in a meeting and feel exposed. Instead of spiraling, you think, my identity just hasn't updated yet. That one sentence creates space. Space reduces panic, and panic is what fuels self-doubt. Collect micro-evidence. Write down small, specific proof of competence weekly. Your brain builds identity from repeated evidence. Neuroplasticity strengthens pathways you revisit. Not, I'm successful, but I handled that client objection calmly. Specific memories encode deeper than vague affirmations. You're feeding your self-schema new data, slowly upgrading the file labeled me. Normalize the stress of expansion. Expect discomfort after growth. Predictive processing theory says anxiety increases when outcomes are uncertain. If you expect discomfort, it feels less like danger and more like transition. You post a video that performs well. Instead of thinking, now I must maintain this, you think, of course this feels intense. I expanded. Expansion stretches you. Stretching feels tight before it feels natural. Separate performance from identity. Mentally divide who you are from what you produce. When identity fuses with performance, every mistake threatens your core self. Instead of, I failed, you say, that attempt failed. This subtle language shift protects your identity from overreaction. When identity feels safer, growth feels less dangerous. Increase visibility gradually. Expose yourself to slightly larger stages, not dramatic leaps. Gradual exposure retrains the amygdala. It teaches your nervous system that visibility is survivable. Share your opinion in a small group before speaking to a large audience. Post consistently before chasing viral success. Your brain needs repetition without catastrophe. Safety rewires fear. Let's bring this together. You don't feel fake because you're incapable. You feel fake because your identity thermostat is set lower than your current reality. Success is heat. Your nervous system tries to cool it down, not maliciously, protectively. But identity is not fixed. It updates through experience, through repetition, through tolerated expansion. Think of identity like a room slowly filling with light. At first, brightness feels overwhelming. Your eyes squint. You step back. But if you stay, your vision adjusts. The light doesn't hurt anymore. It becomes normal. That's how belonging works. Not through sudden confidence, through repeated exposure to your own growth. The next time you succeed and feel that quiet fear, don't rush to shrink. Don't rush to discredit yourself. Just notice. Your brain is trying to protect an old version of you. But you're not that version anymore. Growth always feels unfamiliar before it feels natural. And maybe the discomfort isn't proof you're fake. Maybe it's proof you're becoming someone new. Stay with the expansion. Let your identity catch up. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to allow yourself to become who you already are becoming. If this video helped you see yourself differently, like it. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. And subscribe, so the next time your brain tries to shrink you, you'll have the tools to push back. More videos like this every week. See you in the next one.